Greetings, YugiTube. Welcome again to the Blue Corner. And since you're seeing Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon here, that only means one thing. Today is another Disaster Dragon special video. Basically, I'm going to be going over cards to watch out for an Extreme Victory. This is something I've done with previous booster pack sets, and I've got a lot to talk about in this one. So, yeah, today's episode, Extreme Victory for Disaster Dragon. Let's get right into it. Extreme Victory, the last set of the 5Ds era of Yu-Gi-Oh! It has quite a lot going for it. I mean, this is arguably the best set for us since Raging Battle, which gave us Koa'ki, Drago, Explorer Dragonwing, Trident, Dragion. Raging Battle is what made Disaster Dragon possible, thanks to the cards in it. And Extreme Victory does a lot for us. And I will get right into the key cards. The first and most important one is Dodger Dragon. He's a super rare, 1900 attack, wind type dragon monster, level 4. His effect is you cannot negate his summon with the normal summon of the card, and during a turn he's normal summoned, your opponent cannot activate counter traps. This is really nice because this means you can summon this guy, remove her from play to summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and your opponent cannot warning it, they cannot solemn it, they cannot activate counter traps in response to your own trap card. So if you decide to summon the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and they try and Bottomless and you chain Burst Breath, they can't 7-tools that because you shut down counter traps for the turn. What it does for the 6 Samurai matchup is really nice because he shuts down Solemn Warning and Musakane and Magatama, which is really their only ways of stopping you from getting around Shien, because you can just summon Darkness Metal Dragon and run over Shien and they can't warning it that time. Yeah, the stats make him on par with Koa'ki Drago, which is nice. He doesn't have the drawback of Koa'ki Drago, and him being a win makes him extremely splashable in Category 5. Because, yeah, even if they try and Bottomless the Dodger Dragon, you can just spin it off with Spiritual Wind Art. Actually, if you run enough wins in your standard deck, you could probably main deck Spiritual Wind Art Miyabi and take advantage of it, because you got Dodger Dragon, Koa'ki Drago, Red Eyes Wyvern, Stardust Dragon. So Dodger Dragon, definitely a card to look out for. You can pull off so many combos with it. Like if you had a Mass Dragon on the field, it got killed by battle, you summon a Delta Flyer to the field in response, then during your turn you can summon a Dodger Dragon, they can't stop that. Then Synchro for Black Rose Dragon and blow up the field, and they can't warning that because you played Dodger Dragon. And now that you Black Rose the field, you can play your Future Fusion and proceed to do your other stuff. So definitely try to get your hands on a playset of these. I would consider main decking 2 at the moment. Depending on how things go in the format, 3 in the main deck may be viable, but definitely try and get your hands on them. It's by far the most important dragon of the set. Next up on the list is Debunk, a counter trap card. What it does is it basically negates and removes in-hand monster effects or in-graveyard monster effects, and then it just shuts those down. Really nice in certain decks and games too if you play this on, say, Sabers or Frogs, Blackwings. What it does is you stop recruiters like Empress Blade, Mystic Tomato. You stop searchers like SANGAN and Gravekeeper's Recruiter if Necro Valley isn't on the field. You stop those in-hand monster guys like Effect Veiler, DD Crow, Gravekeeper's Commandant. You can side this card in against a whole lot of decks. It will do some damage. So it's a super rare, thankfully, so it won't be too hard to get. So I would definitely try and get your hands on 2 of these. That being said, on to the cards that I did manage to pick up. And first up, Lancer Lindwurm. It's a level 4 wind type dragon monster with 1800 attack. He just does piercing damage. Pretty simple. He's much better than Spear Dragon in this department because he doesn't switch to defense position. He's a wind, so you can use him in Category 5. And yeah, he's a common, so it won't be too hard to pick up a playset. Next up, Axe Dragonute. How long have we been waiting to get this guy over here? Seriously. It's been, 3 years since he was released in Japan? Maybe even longer? He's basically just a big beater. You attack with him, he goes to defense afterwards. He's 2000, he's dark, he's a really good target for your Burst Breath because now you can hit even wider range of monsters with his 2000 attack and they're less than 2000 defense. He's also a dark, so you can actually main deck Devastation Virus now if you choose to run this guy, because you got this, Red Eyes Darkness Metal, you got Red Dragon Archfiend and Dark End Dragon and all those guys in the extra deck. And Deck Devi, it's just a really good card in general right now. You check your opponent's hand and field for 1500 attack or less monsters and immediately destroy them. Anything they draw for the next 3 turns, you get to take a look at. And if it's one of those target cards, it's destroyed. This is the basis of my Pandemic Disaster Dragon deck, and frankly, with these guys out, you can now go run a little bit of Pandemic in your deck. I would either main deck a couple of these or side deck a couple of these, because they are really good for certain matchups. And yeah, at worst, you attack with him, he goes to defense, you remove it for Darkness Metal afterwards, or you can just put him on the field and just sit behind him, because people can't really deal with a 2000 attacker on the first couple turns. The fact that he gets over those 1900 attackers like Neos Elias, Thunder King Ryo, Doom Caliber Knight, he gets over those guys. He can swing for 2000 if you've got a clear shot. He just puts in a lot of good work. And he's at Dark, so you can run him in your Dark Arm Disaster Dragon deck if you happen to be doing that one. His other cousin is Lancer Dragonute, who is surprisingly a super rare from this set. He's a level 4 Dark with 1800 defense, 1500 attack. He's trample just like Lancer Lindwurm, which at first makes him an underwhelming card. However, it's the fact that he's 1500 attack that makes him so good, because you can search him through Mass Dragon's effect. So if your Mass Dragon dies, you can bring this guy out, wall behind him if your opponent has a 1800 attacker monster, and if you've got a Delta Flyer in your hand, you can summon him and then bump it up to level 5 and make your your Dark End Dragon, and just use Dark End's effect to send something to the graveyard. And again, he's also a Dark monster, so he's a graveyard fuel for your Dark Arm Dragon if you happen to be running that. Whether or not you want to go Dark Arm Disaster is a player's choice. Personally, I like the idea that Koa'ki brought up, was that with the amount of wins in Darks now, you can actually main deck a Dark Simorgh. And if you happen to, say, blow up the field after using Black Rose Dragon, and you got a Dark and a win in your graveyard, you can remove those and summon Dark Simorgh, and now your opponent can't put traps down on the field because they've got to deal with this guy. And chances are you can summon this guy in a turn or two afterwards. So they'll have to do with this, and whatever's lurking in your graveyard, and you'll end up locking them down. Dark Simorgh following Black Rose is a potentially game-winning combination. So if you've got a couple Dark Simorgh lying around, I would definitely consider that too. Last up on the list, a common, it's Contact with the Aquamirror. This is really only viable in the Frozen Raid variant of Disaster. What it does is simple. If you control a water type monster on the field, you can look at the set cards in your opponent's spell and trap zone, or look at the top 2 cards of either player's deck. You look at them, not your opponent, and then rearrange them in any order you wish. If you control a face-up water ritual monster, you can activate both effects, but right now you can only do that with Crab Turtle. Nobody runs that, and Gishkis aren't out yet, so really it's just Ice Barriers and Frozen Rain that can really abuse this. It's a really nice disruptive card, because you can just look at your opponent's back row, and you can decide, oh, well, I'll make this move, I'll make that. Or you can look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck and stack them in any way you wish to set up your Mind Crush, or you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and stack them any way you wish. So like, Moss Reborn, Pot of Duality. I'll put the Moss Reborn on top so I can draw that, and then I'll get Pot of Duality in the next turn. Excellent. So yeah, it's a really nice tech card in Frozen Rain, and that's it for relevant cards for the set. Lifestream Dragon, not usable. The other Synchro Monsters aren't really of any importance too. The only good Synchro Monster coming up is Hyper Librarian, and everyone wants that card, so that's no surprise. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you're going after Extreme Victory, there is a lot for you to hunt down. Thankfully, a lot of the good cards are common, but the really good ones are super. And I wish everyone the best of luck in trying to get their hands on Dodger Dragons and Lancer Dragonutes. And thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped people out in prepping their Disaster Dragon decks for post-Extreme Victory. And yep, so until the next time, guys, take care.